Good morning. Now, continuing on with my reloading education or experience, uh, what I've done is we saw that we took the cartridges and washed them, the casings and washed them, and dried them, and then I put them through the resizing die out in the garage. And once I was done with that, it knocked out the primer and the old primer, and it resized the casing to be back what it was supposed to be, so it'll fit inside the chamber and be able to be shot. I trimmed it down. I trimmed it down to what the trim size was for these, and the literature that I'm using says the trim size is 2.055, and that's what I have it. It also says that the maximum is 2.067, so that's the maximum that you want the cartridge to be. And from what I've read is that the reason that you want to trim this down is because like I said before, the bullet is held in there by friction. So if you have too long of a neck, it's too much friction, which can cause too much pressure buildup and can cause problems. So that's what it is. But I cut mine down shorter than the maximum, obviously. One of the guidelines they say for what you want your trim length to be is 0.01, minus the or away from the max length. So it would be 2.057. But I cut mine short because one of my Carcanos, and I think I talked about it, has a burnt barrel. It was overused, and right at the end of the casing is where when the bullet comes out, it gets so hot there that what happened was it caused a little bit of bubbling on the barrel. And every time I put a round in there now and you shoot it, when the neck expands, it expands on that bubbling, and it won't allow you to pull the cartridge out of the gun. I mean, I say bubbling. It's not. It's something that's very small, but it does affect the way that the cartridge acts inside the gun. So I got it down. I took one of the cartridges from the commercial ones yesterday and I trimmed it down to the 2.5, 2.055, and reloaded it and I fired it and it works fine. So that's good. So that's my wife's gun, and it was a gift, and it was awful to give her a gift that didn't work, but it works now. So that was a lesson that I got from the gunsmith um, page on Facebook. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to prime the cartridges now. So what I've got here is this is the I got my Christmas pants on. What I've got is a press that does two things. Number one, it primes. Okay, it's got I think you can see it here. It's got a little thing here for the put the primer on, and then you bring it down, and when you do that, it pushes the primer up into the pocket. The other thing, and we'll show it here in a few minutes, is it's got the reloader die that goes on the top here, and we'll explain that when the time comes. But now I had some PPU brass, and the PPU brass that that I have, the pocket is bigger than the pocket here for the Norma. I got some Norma brass, which is the company that makes it, and the pocket is tight. Norma's pocket is tight. So anyway, so there's two things that had to happen. Was the primers that I was using were certainly not going to fit inside there because it was too tight. So I had to use a reamer. This is the reamer here. You see it's jagged on the edge. What you do is you stick it inside and you just twist it inside the primer pocket. You pull it out, and what it does is it smooths things out so that the primer will fit inside of it. And, so I've done that to all the remainder ones. I've done a few a few today already, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the rest of them. And so what I've got is this is the primer tray, and in the primer tray there's little ridges on it. So when you put your primers out here, you want them all going in the same direction because it makes it easier to for you to pick them up and to put them where they're supposed to be. And what you do is because you've got those little ridges, you shake it and it puts them all so they're face up. I don't know if you can see them all now that they're all face up. Anyway, so it puts them all face up. I don't know how it does it with the little ridges. It's somebody figured it out. So what I've got is my casing, and I'm going to put a primer down there in the hole. And then it's just as simple as you put the casing on there and you push it down. And there you go. It's in there. The thing you look for is you want to make sure that it's in there evenly. I've done ones here that have not been on there evenly. That they're skewed a little bit. And the other thing you want to make sure is that it's down below. You can feel it just a little bit below the lip of the cartridge. So, but that's still learning. And there it is. Well, I'm going to do the rest of these. I got probably, I don't know, about 20 more. And after that's done, then we'll start loading some charges into the casings, so we can start getting ready to finish them off. So, but anyway, that's how we prime. It's not very exciting, but it is because you know that you're getting closer um, to getting these things done. The Parkinson's makes it so much easier to put your casings in there. It's in there. Anyway, so we'll be back when we get ready to put some gunpowder in. Okay, now we're getting ready to put some gunpowder. I've been doing it already, and we'll finish up the last few that I have here. We're going to put some gunpowder inside the casings now. We've already primed them and we've trimmed them and we've done everything we have to do with them to get them ready. And now they're ready, and we need to charge them. So what we've done is each cartridge comes with. I copied this out of the book that I have, the Hornady, and the Lyman book. I'm sorry. And what I've done is I picked the bullet that I want. It's right here. It's 130 grains of a bullet, and it's a match bullet, so it's made for shooting at targets. I picked the gunpowder that I wanted, which was the 4064 gunpowder, and I picked that because it goes across all the different platforms. It goes across the 303s that I want, the 8mm that I want. Basically, those are the two major ones with the Carcanos that I have that I shoot. So what happens is now you have to look at it, and it says for this type of gunpowder, and it'll give you different listings of how much gunpowder to put in depending on how powerful of a round you want to make it. I'm going with the starter round. I'm not going with the higher one. If you see, the list goes over, and it'll tell you the different weights in grains that that you that you want to use, and all the way up to the where it says the max. They have a thing that says max, and you don't want to go past that because, well, we've all seen the videos on YouTube of exploding guns, and they're not any fun. So the first way that you can load the charge, because mine is supposed to put in 28.8 grains of gunpowder, of this type of gunpowder. And so what you can do is you take your scale, first you calibrate it. All the scales calibrate different. This one has a little weight that you put on, and it's 1,000 grams, and I think it's 1,000 grams. Yeah, it's 100 grams, and you put it on there, and you can calibrate your scale to the 100 grams. Then you take your scoop. Mine comes with this little plastic one. Some of them depend on the scale that you have. Some of them have metal ones, and some of them are balancing scales and whatever. I chose an electronic scale. It was a gift from my brother-in-law for me to have. So you put that on there and you zero it, and so then you'll be able to get the true weight of what's going on with the gunpowder. Each set of dies comes, especially the leaves, they come with a little scooper, and you can scoop it inside the bottle of gunpowder, put it on, see how much more you have to put on, whatever, and you get it as close as possible. And then once you get it close, you have this little baby here. This is a trickler, and what this does is you turn the knob, and it puts out just a few grains of gunpowder at a time, so that you can get it up to the weight that you want it to be at. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is using this. You put gunpowder in there, it's almost gone because I've been working on it. And what this does is it converts the weight of your gunpowder grains into cubic centimeters. So in order to do that, you have to have a guide, and this has all the gunpowders. And what it does is it tells you how much each grain will fill as far as cubic centimeters. So a grain is I think I had it, it's 0.6 grams, I think. Let me see. 0.06 grams. So it's really a small amount, so 0.06 grams. So what this says is, for this gunpowder, each grain will fill 0.0745 cubic centimeters. So 0.0745 cubic centimeters. So you figure, okay, that's fine. So you figure, okay, I need 28.8 grains of gunpowder per charge. So what you do is you multiply the 28.8 by the 0.0745, because that's how much it's going to take up, and it'll give you a number that'll tell you how much your 28.8 grains space, how much it'll take up, and it turns out it takes up 2.095 cubic centimeters. So I rounded it up to 2.01 cubic centimeters. So what you have is this thing here. I have it down. You can imagine the bulb up on top, and you have a little knob here with it's numbered, and each turn is 1/10 of a cubic centimeter, and it goes up to 7. Which, man, that's be a hell of a charge if you have to put 7 cubic centimeters worth of gunpowder inside that charge. So, but anyway, so what you do is you adjust it, and then you want to weigh it to see what it comes out to be. So it's already adjusted. So what you do is you take, it's already down, so it's down. So the gunpowder is going to come down, and it's going to fill up this cylinder up to the point where you've set it. Then it comes out here down the bottom. as it tilts up, it pours out the gunpowder. Then you take it and you put it on your scale, and you see what it says. Mine says 28.6, and that's close enough for me. So now you know that it works. So you take your casing, little thing here. Oh, I spilled some. So obviously now that it's not a good charge. So what we're going to do is make it one more time. I still get nervous. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to. Did I mention you shouldn't be smoking or have any kind of flame stuff around while you're working with gunpowder? It's not going to explode like boom in a big cloud, but it will flash. It'll and people can get burned pretty bad and so forth. So you shouldn't really smoke when doing gunpowder because you're going to get gunpowder in different places, and you just want to be sure that you don't have an open flame or anything. So there you go. Now, after you get your charge, and I've already done it several times, and you know that it's reliable, what you can do is take and put it down. You fill it up. You're filling up the cylinder. Then you stick your cartridge up inside here. And there you go. Now it's filled. So you don't have to go through weighing it every time because it's consistent. And then you just check it I check it every well, whenever, 5, 6, 7 times, whatever, and make sure that the charge is still what it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to finish up these last 4, and then we'll break out the loading die, and we'll start putting some bullets on top of these things so that we can go shoot them. All right, thank you.